Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a talk about Cold War Zombies. I've been playing a lot recently, and I've noticed some very interesting things about playing it and how it compares to older games. So I just want to talk about that. So there's just a lot of things to just go over. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is that it just feels like I'm playing for the camos. The dark ether camo is a really cool camo, but it seems that when I'm playing, it's all I'm really caring about. It's all I'm really focused about. It's a good goal to get. It is a reward that I want to strive for, but the grind for it is definitely not very fun. It's very annoying. You definitely are going to have to put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I've only gotten a few guns golden. And I can tell you that just from the few guns I have got golden, I cannot imagine doing this for another 30 weapons. It is insane how much you have to play this game. And it is something to do while you're waiting for new maps to come out and new content. But at the same time, I just feel like there's something off about Cold War Zombies. Now, the maps are good, they're solid. D Machine and Firebase Z are solid maps. They're fun to play on. They're challenging. But how challenging? I mean, some people say it's too easy. In my opinion, I think it's moderate difficulty. I think there are definitely times where it's bullshit. But the thing that really is just off about these maps is that I feel, maybe it's just the engine, but like when you play the maps and you get a feel for them, I'm not thinking about getting to a high round. That's not on my mind. In the past, that was the entire goal, I feel like. It was just see how high you can get. And maybe it's because I'm playing alone. I have been playing a lot on my own, and Zombies is definitely a game that's a lot more fun with the more people you have. It gets more chaotic. It becomes more intense, and it doesn't feel as boring. And maybe that's probably why I'm feeling this way, but I just feel like it's just not as fun. I feel like there is replay value, but I feel like that replay value is just trying to get these camos. I feel like once I get Dark Ether camo, if I even get it, what is next? Like, what am I going to do next? And that, in my mind, is not what I like. I know there's tons of challenges. There's tons of calling card challenges. You got Dark Ops. You got achievements on, there's stuff to do. There is stuff to go for, and I like going after achievements. But, like, I feel like when I'm playing the game, I just feel like something's off. And maybe that has to do with a combination of many different factors. For one thing, Zombies is always evolving. I mean, the game mode has been out for over a decade now. It's not going to be like World at War or Black Ops 1, where there was no weapon customization, there was no camo unlocks. It was literally just fun. I remember playing Black Ops 1. I remember playing 5 and Kino der Toten, and I liked 5 more than Kino der Toten because it was a lot more chaotic, and the games were a lot harder. And when I played 5, it really was as simple as I want to see how high I can go. And I kept playing it over and over and over again, and I never got bored because every game was just intense. But that was because I was always playing in a public lobby. And I was young, I didn't have any friends to play Black Ops 1 with. And I got Black Ops 2, and I played that with randoms, and Black Ops 2 was also a lot of fun. I was just trying to get to a high round, even during the Easter eggs. And then Black Ops 3 was the first Black Ops game I actually played with other people, like people I knew. And playing Black Ops 3 and just doing the Easter eggs and just having fun playing the game, like, we just played the game for fun, like, and even then, there was weapon customization, but there wasn't like a Zombies camo. You had to get the Dark Matter camo in multiplayer. So I played a lot of multiplayer as well as Zombies because the Dark Matter camo was really sick, and the multiplayer for Black Ops 3 was fun. And the Cold War multiplayer is very polarizing. A lot of people will tell you it's horrible, some people will tell you it's fine, some people will tell you it's good. The point I'm trying to make is I feel like Call of Duty as a whole is just like, maybe it's becoming a lot more grindy than I'd like it to be. I feel like simplicity in zombies is always better. Black Ops 2, I feel like, was the peak of zombies. It's my favorite zombies game. And it's the reason I don't really care for Black Ops 3, or I like Black Ops 3, but the reason I don't like it as much as Black Ops 2 is the Gobblegums. I feel like the Gobblegums are just... Some people will tell you it helped the game, but in my opinion, I feel like it made it a little too easy. It kind of destroyed the zombies' flow. And that's something else I want to talk about with Cold War. The zombies' flow is the setup phase. So, when you're doing a high round, or when you're just playing for fun, there's three main stages. I don't even know if there's three. There's two stages. There's the setup phase and then the end game phase. And most of the time, the end game phase is just, obviously it's after you set up, but the setup phase is usually the most fun. It's when you're weak, it's when you don't have anything, and it's when, you start out and you have like nothing. You just have a puny 1911, and then you work your way up. You go to the mystery box, you get Wonder Weapon, you get perks, you unlock the map, you get Pack-a-Punch. Maybe you do the Easter egg, maybe you don't. But the point is, the setup phase is usually the most fun because you're weak, and it's chaotic even then. And Black Ops 2 Origins, the setup phase is really fun because you're trying to get all the staff, you're trying to get yourself set up for the high round. And in Cold War, I feel like the setup phase is not only a little different, but also a little bit longer. So it is definitely harder to get set up in Cold War. Not to like, but like getting all your guns max level is definitely a grind, and it probably won't happen until the later round, like a really late in the game. In Cold War, you have like, but the thing is, you get to choose a weapon to start out with. You get a weapon, and you can put attachments on it, and the gunsmith is really cool, and that's great. But at the same time, should you start out with a weapon that already is kind of powerful? I mean, it's weak because there's different rarities, which is a way to counteract the whole you get to start out with any weapon you want. And I remember in Black Ops 4, there was one of those talismans or whatever, those pay-to-win things, that you start off the match with an LMG, which was kind of broken because, well, it was an LMG at the start of the game. You've already kind of skipped part of the setup phase. But in this game, there's different rarities, so even if you get like a LMG, it's not going to be powerful in the later rounds. You have to upgrade it. And so that's kind of a good way to like counteract that, but at the same time, it feels weird to just not have a 1911. Another thing with Cold War is that wall weapons are pretty much obsolete. There's no reason to get them because the box is always going to have better variants. And on D Machine, the only wall weapon I think is worth buying is the blue Gallo on the plane. And even then, I don't buy it. Because why would I buy it? There's no reason for me to buy it if I'm trying to get Dark Ether. You kind of see where it's going. So you pretty much, the weapon you always start out with is a weapon you're trying to unlock camos where you're trying to get a max level, you level it up for whatever you want to use it for. And so wall weapons have become obsolete. Like, there's no reason to buy them, which is weird because the fact that they've become obsolete is kind of unfortunate because even since Black Ops 4, wall weapons were, all the way from World at War to Black Ops 4, I've used wall weapons frequently. It's a good way to get a decent weapon. You don't have to gamble with the box. Maybe the box you haven't even gotten into it yet. But you bought a weapon off the wall and you know what you're getting. And you use it because, it might be good for points or it's probably a good damage dealer, better than your pistol. The whole point of wall weapons is it's supposed to be a guaranteed weapon for you to use against the zombies until you get to the mystery box or until you get a weapon you want. Because you never know what you're going to get out of the mystery box. And so I think that's something else. What else with Cold War? I think another thing is, I think everybody's talked about this, but it's the lack of personality. Now, I personally, I really liked, I'm sure everybody did, but the characters are intriguing. They're entertaining. They give you comedic value. They do one-liners. They do all sorts of things. The characters, all the way from World at War to BO4, even if you didn't like the characters in BO4, the Chaos storyline, at least they were people with personalities, and they said things, and they bickered with each other. They were real people. Now, I know that this is part of the Cold War story, so it's part of the thematics, but, I mean, the characters are just, they're just operators. They're just military dudes. And the only reason you might have an attachment to any of them is if you've played the campaign, because in the campaign, they are real people that have personality. But in zombies, they have minimal lines. They don't talk a lot. They don't bicker among themselves. They're just military operators just there to do a mission. And I know that's part of the Cold War thematics, but it's just, it definitely takes away from the zombies feel, if you understand what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like I'm playing zombies. Because the characters just, they don't say anything interesting. It's very bland, it's very boring, and they don't offer anything. They only say things when you get a lot of kills, It's like, that's just not, I mean, yeah, I get it. They're military, but like I said, even some of the military characters, like Tank Dempsey, he still had funny lines and one-liners and all that, and he still bickered with other characters. Just because they're a military agent or whatever doesn't mean they can't have personality. And I think that is something that definitely is let down in zombies. So yeah, it definitely takes away from the personality. Another thing I really don't like about it is like Officer Weaver and all the other people who talk to you during the game. I get that it's part of, like I said, I keep repeating this, but it's still a thing that kind of bothers me, is the fact that you're not alone. I think part of the reason that Zombies was scarier, or it felt more realistic, or it kind of contributed to the atmosphere, was that you were completely alone. Maybe there was another soul on the map besides the 4 characters, but you were alone. You think about Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, just look at Kino der Toten, or 5. Everybody's dead. It's just the 4 people, and they gotta survive. There's nobody talking to them, it's just them. You got Black Ops 2, you got the Transit crew. And Transit, I think, is one of the scariest maps. I mean, when I first played it, I was scared. But you would load in, and there's, like, no music. I mean, there's no music in usually, but like sometimes there's some type of rhythm, I don't know. But in Black Ops 2, it's just ambience. It's just pure ambience. It's dark, it's foggy. There's nobody talking to you. You truly feel like you're alone. The entire world around you is dead, desolate. Everything's on fire in Transit. I think Transit encapsulates the zombies feel perfectly. You're alone, there's nobody there, and everything is dead. Like, there's no sign of life. And I think that's perfect for zombies. Now, I know that Black Ops 2 is the follow-up to Black Ops 1's Moon, where you blow up the Earth, so everything's going to be dead. But even in Black Ops 1, when there's life, you still feel alone. But in Black Ops Cold War, you look at a map like Die Maschine, and you see trees everywhere. Like, you see trees all around you, the sky isn't, like, collapsing, there's nothing, it's not like Chicken Little. But there's nothing, and there's people talking to you. And even when you exfil, there's a dude in the helicopter, and he's like, Omega is after us. It doesn't feel like zombies. You don't feel desolate. You don't feel alone. And that definitely does not help contribute to the zombie storyline, because the sky, it's like the Kino sky in Die Maschine. It's like, it's like a regular sky. And I know that has to do with the thematics and the story of Cold War, but you cannot deny that it takes away from the overall atmosphere that zombies usually has. Even if you want to give the argument in Black Ops 1 there is Shangri-La. Shangri-La was a beautiful, lush jungle. Yes, but there was still a feeling of of, just alone, just desolate. And I think, obviously having, officers talk to you and, comment on what's happening, it just really feels like, it's not really zombies. There might be zombies, but, it doesn't really feel like zombies. That's what I'm trying to get the point across. Another thing I wanted to say was Firebase Z. Firebase Z, I feel like, does a better job at the zombies feel. But maybe that's just because of the map itself. You know, it's in Vietnam, but everything's on fire. There's a bunch of crashed planes everywhere. Yeah, I think it does a better job at conveying isolation and desolation, but there's still people talking to you. And at the Easter egg cutscene, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you see more people, like real people. So I'm just like, it's just like, what's like, you know, I'm not, you know, it's like, what's like, it kind of, you know, it just feels like you're not really alone. And I get that. That's part of the thematics. I feel like I'm going insane just keep saying that, but like I said, it just feels weird, I guess. I just don't know. It's one of those psychological things. It's like something your brain doesn't really notice, or you don't really notice. Like, you kind of pick up on it, but you don't really notice it unless you, like, kind of go back and look at older games. Maybe I just have a bias for Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3, but I really feel like that was the peak of zombies, those 3 games. Black Ops 4 was not that great. I mean, it was kind of a letdown. I played it a lot still, but, I mean, you know, I feel like Black Ops 4 definitely kind of ruined, or it definitely had an impact on the way Cold War was going to be. Now, I'm not dissing Cold War. I still like playing the zombies mode. I just play it alone a lot. But I feel like the gameplay is solid. It's fun. I'll give you that. But it's just a lot of the atmosphere and the thematics of it that I think obviously have been lost. But, you know, that's part of what it is. It's new. I'm sure there's people who like the change. I'm sure there's people who think, you know what, this is cool. I'm cool with it. But at the end of the day, I still feel like, you know, it's just not the same. I mean, it's never going to be the same. We're never going to be able to return to the point in time like Black Ops 2. Like, that was a completely different time. You know, we're never going to be able to return that. And, you know, that's kind of sad, but, you know, it's just how it is. That's just how zombies has been evolving, and I'm really excited to see what Cold War has in store for these next maps. I really hope that the maps are fun and have a lot of replay value. And I definitely enjoy it. It's definitely not a letdown. I mean, it's better than Black Ops 4 for sure, but it just, I feel like it just doesn't live up. And I think maybe Black Ops 2 set the bar a bit too high. Even with maps like Transit and Die Rise, which are very polarizing, maps that are virtually hated, but in my opinion, I like Transit and Die Rise. I like the challenge it offers. I know a lot of people might think I'm crazy, but I made a tier list video, and you can watch it on my channel. But the point is, I like those maps. It's because I had fun playing them. When I play them, I have fun. I'm not worried about anything else. I just want to have a fun time getting to a high round. And that's it. I think a lot of people don't really understand that the reason I don't hate Transit is because I like the challenge. I like having a good challenge. And with D Machine and Firebase Z, the challenge is, I feel like I definitely die a lot more in the setup phase. It's definitely a lot harder getting set up because there's a lot of stuff you gotta do. You need a lot of points for perks and Pack-a-Punch and salvage to upgrade your weapon. I feel like once you get past that, it's not as bad. I mean, once you're set up, anything is easy. You just, you know, play the game. Something else I've noticed with the zombies in Cold War is that I feel like they're a lot more aggressive. I feel like I'm finding myself getting hit way too often, way much more than in Black Ops, you know, the other Black Ops games. I think I can sum it up like this. In Black Ops 2, it's a lot easier to train and deal with zombies, but once you get cornered, you're pretty much fucked. And that's a lot of games. But in this game, I feel like you get hit by zombies a lot much more. But getting cornered is not the end of the world in this game. I feel like there are so many things, there's so many like equipment and field upgrades and all these things. I feel like it's a lot easier to escape from getting cornered because I'm just saying, I've escaped from a lot more corners in this game. It gets intense if you get cornered. But in Black Ops, the older Black Ops games, if you got cornered, you're pretty much done for. There's nothing you can do. Which I found was really interesting. I feel like the zombies in this game are hard. Like, you're gonna get hit a lot more, and the armor is really helpful. But you're gonna get hit a lot in this game. But it is so much easier to escape from a corner. Escaping from a corner in the old games is practically impossible. But these are just some things I've noticed about Cold War Zombies, and I really like it. I think it's a solid game, and I think maybe a lot of people, including myself, have put a lot of praise on the older games because we can look back on them, especially during a time when Black Ops 4 was out. I feel like a lot of people were looking back on the older days and kind of uplifting the bar for those games and kind of being like, well, this map, we kind of judged it harshly, but now looking back, it's not as bad as we once thought, And so, the kind of standard rose years after the game came out, and then when Cold War came out, everybody was like, well, it's great, but I feel like something's missing. And that is definitely a thing. And I'm sure in a few years after Cold War comes out, we're going to look back on it and be like, yeah, it was a very good game and, it was solid. But when you're living, when you're playing through it now in the present, you can't help but compare it to the games of the past because you need some type of comparison. And for that sake, you always are like, well, it doesn't have personality, it doesn't have this, that, and the other thing. And then, you look back and you're like, and then this is a prime example. And, it's just like, it's not really fair to Cold War because it has to live up to its predecessors. And the predecessors are just getting, people are starting to look back on them with nostalgia and a lot more, just a lot more forgiveness because Black Ops 4 wasn't the great, game we thought we were going to get. It ended up being a subpar game with very few maps to write home about. And I definitely think that Cold War is a solid game. Definitely. I just think that there's some things that make it feel off, and that's just probably the evolution of it. Obviously, because it's been out for over a decade, the game mode, things are going to change, and they're going to try new things to keep people interested. You can't just keep releasing the same game over and over again, because people are going to take notice. But I guess the people who play Madden and FIFA don't notice, because they've been releasing that game for fucking how many years now? I don't know. But is there any difference? I don't know, but they've been releasing that game, and I guess they make enough money to keep making those games, but you know what? It's whatever. But for zombies, you got to keep things new and innovative to keep people coming back. And, the weapon system and the new perks and, the new maps, it definitely, it's a change. You got to keep change in order to keep people coming back and interested. And the camo challenges and, all this, like, at the end of the day, it's keeping me playing the game. And I think it's fun, but I think definitely part of the reason, I might not be feeling this because I just haven't been playing with a lot of people. I think that's it. I definitely recommend playing with other people. Zombies is definitely a lot more fun. So if you're feeling off about Cold War, just load up a game and just play with other people. And I guarantee you, it's probably going to be a lot more fun, a lot more chaotic, and just a better experience with more people. That's just how it's been. But that's all I got to say for now. Thank you for watching my video, guys. Check out my other videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.